It's time now for Media Watch. James Creedon's here with the computer and with a lot of insight on what's being said online about the Socialist Party primaries here in France.
Yes, the two frontrunners, the two finalists, Martine Aubry, François Hollande. Do you know what the papers are saying in France, Mark? They hate each other. They actually really hate each other.
Now, that could be a problem for party unity in the future, couldn't it?
Well, I could tell you some of the insults that they've been saying.
Please do.
Well, I'll give them in French and you can tell me if I can say it in English.
Okay.
Qui molle. That's what she saw.
Of course you can.
Softballs, or sort of, spineless.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing. We're getting that one.
And he's been saying that she's a liar and perverse, which doesn't mean pervert. It means...
she's perverse. She's twisted.
Yeah.
And,
They really, really don't like each other. Apparently, when she arrived into Solferino, which is the Socialist Party headquarters, in 2008, taking over from a 10-year stint when he was there, she said everything was a mess, even the toilets.
Man, that's a horrible thing to say about somebody who could be president.
All of that, by way of saying, it was bound to be a sort of a lively debate this evening. And I have to say, my impression, just from tuning in here and there in the last hour, is that she's far more combative. She's much more of a fighter. She's on the attack. And if we have a look online, you can see some of the tweets here. This is Le Monde's political bureau. Aubry on the attack this evening on various different issues. They're pointing out different issues in which she's on the attack. And she's putting Hollande in a difficult position.
When it says très offensive, it doesn't mean she's very offensive. It means it's offensive in the sense that she's attacking. You know?
It's a foes of me, as they say.
Despite what you said about the toilets at Rue Solferino.
Leaving a bit of a whiff behind. Anyway,
okay.
I didn't say I shouldn't have said that. But anyway, and here's another guy on the political right, the UMP guy, saying, I don't agree with what she's saying. I don't agree with the kind of the substance of what she's saying, but she's much more convincing than Hollande. So
she's got more depth.
We'll see if everyone else says that later on this evening. The debate is just finishing up as we speak. But suffice it to say that a lot of tension on the set over at France 2 television. And what's interesting, another thing just to point out briefly, Ségolène Royal, that's François Hollande's former life partner, they have 4 children together, she gave her support to him this morning. Now, a lot of people were speculating, will she do this? This was supposedly an acrimonious split up. Will that work? And it did. It did. And one thing, apparently Hollande this evening said that he changed some of his positions to bring them more into line with Ségolène Royal's because she gave him her support. Martine Aubry said this evening, I don't change my positions. You might change your positions to suit, certain situations. I don't. I'm solid, I'm decisive, etc. So she's really trying to cast herself as the more presidential figure, the more
she'll
solid
never change
figure.
Position. There we go.
Yep. So we'll see what happens, I suppose.
Okay, exciting stuff. And like I say, how are they going to work together if they hate each other so much?
This is it. I don't think
that's a sad thing for the opposition in France, isn't it?
Right.
They're so divided. Right.
And this is what they were saying this yesterday as well. That this is a risk of this primary process. They have to attack each other. So imagine the one who's been, whoever ends up winning, has been attacked on fundamental issues by their chief opponents. So you could say that that's really serving the interests of Sarkozy. Pointing out these weaknesses.
Indeed, Tony Blair and Gordon Brown served together for a long time, didn't they? Supposedly they didn't like each other. I mean, who knows? Maybe political expediency means that they can bury the hatchet.
Right, but I suppose, here they're really fighting it out, primetime television, and, not insulting each other on air, but certainly behind the scenes.
It's the socialist primary.
Right.
Great stuff.
Exactly
What's next, sir?
All right, a quick look at Chile. It's 1 year on since the 33 men were brought up from underground, 1,000 feet underground. So it's interesting because the New York Times has been doing a profile of 16 of these 33 men. Now, this guy here, his name is Jimmy Sanchez. He went on a round-the-world trip afterwards. He was given loads of cash by a Chilean businessman. Was living the high life. But now he's just doing, the 11-hour stint back and forth to Santiago de Chile, the capital, twice a month for a psychiatry trip. And they're using this guy as an illustration for the way in which a year on, a lot of them are poorer than they were before. Most of them are unemployed. Very few have actually done well out of all of the, I suppose, media attention they got this time last year. And so they have various profiles of people who, I suppose, this guy, his name is Jose Ojeda. He tried to go back down to the mines. Of course, they were all miners. And last February, he tried to go back to work after descending more than 1,000 feet down. He had a panic attack. So it's a very interesting article.
Not surprised at all.
That's it. And as they said, the memories, it's just very hard for most of them to shake the memories. A lot of them are still in therapy. So it's an interesting article 1 year on from that big media moment.
Very sad to learn that. Very sad to learn that.
They're not really getting over the event.
James, thank you very much indeed. James Creedon with Media Watch. Stay with us. We have lots more to come, of course, here live from Paris, including tonight's sport. Carlos Tevez set to face disciplinary proceedings at Manchester City. There's that. Plus, in the rugby, France preparing to face Wales in the semi-final of the Rugby World Cup. Mark Levermont admits it won't be an easy game. You bet it won't, Mark. Stay with us.